Hello everybody, I am Keaton and this is Kid Catholic Season 12, Episode 8. I hope that you all are having a wonderful Tuesday so far. Now, we're not quite to the midway point of Lent. We still have a little bit to go as of when this is uploaded, but we're getting there. And being this far into Lent, I want to take the time to talk about this idea of failure. Because sometimes we can feel this way during Lent, right? We give something up. Maybe we say, you know what, I'm going to do this for Lent, and then we don't. And then we have that sort of idea of failure. Now, obviously, I'm going to take it outside of failure, just outside of Lent. We can talk about failure in general, what that feeling means, how we come to God about it. But it's important to understand a couple things. Number one, it's okay to fail. It's okay to not be perfect. When we're giving something up, it should be sacrificial, but it should also be spiritually beneficial. And if we fail in whatever we are giving up, if we feel that we haven't done it correctly, for example, let's say for Lent, I'm going to pray the rosary every day. And then we don't, and we can sometimes feel like a failure. Now, I know that maybe that can sound a little bit overdramatic, but genuinely, I've been in that position before where like I give something up for Lent and then I accidentally do that thing or I accidentally drink the soda that I gave up for Lent, right? Whatever it might be. And then there is sort of a little bit of self-destruction there, a little bit of feeling like a failure because what we give up for Lent is so much more than just a physical thing. It's the whole spiritual meaning behind it. And sometimes we can feel like a failure outside of Lent, right? We can feel like maybe we're failing in our spiritual life. We're failing when it comes to getting close to God. We're failing in our grades. We're failing in our job. Whatever it might be, sometimes we can feel like a failure. Now, I don't know about you guys, but pride has been a big issue for me. Like feeling prideful, right? Feeling boastful. And obviously, I don't like try to do that, but pride is somewhere where I struggle because I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to feel like a loser. We're here to strive closer to God. We are here so that we may get to the eternal kingdom of heaven. God's mercy is like a stream of water. And I'm not going to pretend as if I just came up with this on my own. This is an analogy that has been used by theologians before. But God's mercy is like a stream of water in that it comes to the lowest places. And it does. And the reason why I like hearing that so much is because of how accurate it is. It doesn't matter how low in our life we feel. It doesn't matter how much of a failure we feel like. God is there to reach us. God comes for the lost sheep. God comes for the sinners. God comes for the meek because that's what you and I are. We're sinners. Okay? You and I aren't anything special. We're not the best people in the world. We're not the best people to ever exist. You and I are sinners. And we need to be content with failing. We need to understand, yes, this is something that I can't do on my own. Because if we have big aspirations, whether that be in the physical world or whether that be in the spiritual life, like let's say, for example, I want to pray the rosary every day. If we think that we can accomplish that just entirely on our own without any assistance at all, then we are out of our mind, guys. God is the one to assist us. God is the one who is there to help us. All we need to do is come to him. He's waiting there with his arms wide open for us to come to him for help, because it's not like God just sends us to earth and is like, good luck dealing with it, right? God comes to us in our weakness. Jesus goes out of his way to identify and participate in our weakness and our brokenness and our pain. Jesus is always there to help it. Now here's the issue. When I say like, yes, Jesus is always there to help, sometimes we can have that idea that this means Jesus is a genie, even not intentionally, but in our subconscious. Jesus is far from a genie, right? It's not just like, hey, Jesus, help me out of this rough time, and he's like, okay, I got you immediately. Sometimes that might be the case. That very well may be the case. But it's not always the case. Sometimes the answer is no. And there's a reason for that no. Christ doesn't just say no because he's just mean in deciding it. Christ says no for a reason. So when we may be enduring pain and when we're praying and when the answer is no, maybe we're enduring that pain for a reason. Have we ever stopped to think about that? Because guys, Lent is a time for spiritual growth. It just is, right? And I talked about this a couple weeks ago with my video on Lent. It's a time to grow closer to God. And these things that we're giving up for Lent, or that we're doing extra, or not eating meat on Fridays, right? Things like that we are doing to sacrifice and to spiritually benefit us. And if we have failed at that at some point, then we could sit here and beat ourselves up for it and think, wow, I'm such an idiot. How could I fail at that? Why am I like this? Why can't I be better? Or we could take a step back. Understand that failing is kind of a human thing to do. That doesn't make it okay, but it does make it something that happens. And we can recover and we can come closer to God. And we can take these things that we are learning within Lent and take them outside of Lent. Take them all year round. A number of Catholics don't eat meat on Fridays all year round. Maybe we should start trying that if we feel that it's sacrificial and that it will spiritually benefit us. Because guys, that's what Lent is about. It's about that spiritual growth. And in the same way, failure, while it may stink sometimes, again, whatever it might be, maybe it's grades, maybe some of us watching are feeling failure in a different sort of sense that I haven't really specifically talked about, because there's all sorts of kinds of failure. Whatever it is, failure is an opportunity to grow closer to God. Failure is an opportunity to grow closer to God. And all we need to do is take advantage of that opportunity. To take advantage of whatever we feel that we have failed in, and to understand that we are failures. We are sinners. That's who we are. And only with God can we fully recover from that. Only with Christ can we get out of that. Can we get out of our pain and go to the eternal kingdom of heaven? Because the reality is, it's the eternal life that matters. It's not this one. It's not this material world. This isn't our permanent home. It's up there. It's in heaven. We are all meant to be in heaven. Whether we're Catholic or not, we are all called to be a saint in heaven with Christ. So let's accept that calling. And it starts with accepting our failures, and it starts with coming to God when we feel that failure, with prayer, with building that foundational relationship with Him. All we need to do is accept that call that is present to every single one of us to sainthood. And understand that failure, while it happens, that doesn't necessarily make it okay. We can't just use an excuse. For example, next time we fail on what we've given up on for Lent, we can't just say, oh, well, everybody does it, so it's fine. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am trying to say is God will still find us in our lowest places, in our lowest failures. That's what makes God so great. Well, there's a lot of things that make God so great, but you get what I'm saying. No matter how low we may be feeling, and God is always there to pull us up. All we need to do is grab His hand. To understand that while the answer isn't always yes, our prayers do have power. They do hold power, because prayers are a powerful thing. And we can sort of learn this lesson in Lent on maybe a small scale of, oh, I accidentally had meat on this Friday. Let me not feel like a failure and pick myself back up, to maybe a larger scale in the future that we might be dealing with. Because while both are serious cases, don't get me wrong, it's important to take these sort of lessons that we're learning within Lent and apply them to the rest of the year and the rest of our lives. So now that the topic is done, you know what it's time for now. It's time for
the Saint of the Week.
And today's Saint of the Week is Saint Patrick. Now, of course, it's Saint Patrick, as Saint Patrick's Day is this week. Now, St. Patrick's Day is another one of those Saint Feast Day holidays that has been very secularized, taken out of the Catholic Church, that along with St. Valentine's Day. That's why it gets called Valentine's Day so often, and that's one of my pet peeves. It's St. Valentine's Day, because it does celebrate a saint, just as how St. Patrick's Day does celebrate St. Patrick. Now, I hope that you're wearing your green on this coming week, but again, we need to remember that this is a Catholic feast day for St. Patrick. Now, St. Patrick was a 5th century saint, but the exact dates of his birth and death are unknown. What we do know is that he was a teenager growing up in England, and then he ended up getting captured and sold into slavery in Ireland. Now, there are a lot of stories of his experiences there and how he taught things. Some are myth, meaning that they could have happened or they could just be legend, such as the famous story of him driving the snakes from Ireland. that we're not entirely sure how accurate that is, but again, that very well could have happened. Same with him describing the 3-leaf clover as like the Trinity. Like you have the 3 separate things, but it's all one 3-leaf clover as the Trinity, which I think is a wonderful way to describe it, regardless of if St. Patrick logistically did or not. But that's one of the big things that he is known for as well. He taught in a way that attracted a lot of people and ended up really, he was one of the ones responsible for why Ireland became as Christian as it did, was because of St. Patrick. I just had a massive voice crack that we're going to ignore, but that is a big reason why Ireland had the effect that it did, how he had that effect on Ireland of making it a very Christian country and changed the lives of a lot of people. St. Patrick was just an extraordinary saint. There are a lot of stories about him. Again, some myth, some maybe more factual, while we're not entirely sure. He is an absolutely incredible saint whom we can all look to whenever we feel like we are at that point in our lowest, whenever we feel like we have failed, when we have that failure ideology following us around, we can always look through St. Patrick for help. St. Patrick of Ireland, pray for us. So before you guys click off this video, I'm not just a YouTuber, I'm also a Catholic speaker. So if you want to book me to come and speak at your church, school, conference, men's group, women's group, whatever it may be, you name it, please reach out to me directly at kidcatholic1@gmail.com or go to my website, kidcatholic.com, click the contact me page and email me from there. Also on my website, there's so many awesome things you can do on there. You can read about me. Kid Catholic Shop is up there. All my videos are up there as well. Please like the video and please click the red subscribe button down below. I know it may not seem like much, but genuinely you guys subscribing really does help this ministry to grow, help this ministry to expand, because we are trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. If it says that you need to set up a Gmail account, that's easy, that's free. It's all free and it doesn't spam your email or notifications at all if you just subscribe. Please comment and send your topic suggestions that you might have for future videos in the comments down below. I love to hear what you guys would like to see me make a video on. Once again, I hope that you all are having a very spiritually beneficial Lent so far and have a very good St. Patrick's Day this coming Thursday. This was Keaton of Kid Catholic, and I will see you all next week. Hi, Brielle.